But with house music, we know exactly where and when it actually started. And it was from the early to mid-80s in Chicago.
Chicago in the late 70s was a sprawling metropolis in which white and black communities lived parallel but separate lives. It also had a rather moribund nighttime culture. But a veteran of New York's gay clubs came riding to the city's rescue. Robert Williams put together the best sound system he could find and brought a little New York flair to the windy city.
Chicago was dead, and the people there was never introduced to an after-hours scene like Loft in New York. So I launched The Warehouse.
The Warehouse was a members-only club. They want people to go there and not bring any of that outside shit in. You know, no homophobia, no sexism towards women.
Went in there, pitch black, one cheesy colored light bulb. Couldn't see nothing in there. There were no seats, no chairs, just a big dance floor. Music was so loud that you were forced to dance to it.
It felt like you were in a sci-fi movie. It was like, what is this? I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
Robert's secret weapon in creating the warehouse atmosphere was DJ Frankie Knuckles. He'd become addicted to dance music in the gay clubs of New York. But at the Warehouse, he was able to innovate and create a new dance floor dynamic from the four-to-the-floor disco beat.
I like to think that I was born and raised in New York, but I grew up in Chicago.
In the early 80s, Frankie was no longer the only DJ in town. Robert Williams launched a new club built around the musical vision of bisexual, drug-addicted virtuoso DJ Ron Hardy.
The Music Box. Its DJ Ron Hardy had an intensity that took clubbing to a whole new dimension.
Ronnie would keep you going and keep you going. That's why they call him Heart Attack Hardy. He would keep you going and going and going until you just actually have a heart attack.
And then all I know is the people were screaming Ron Hardy's name. Ron Hardy, pump that Ron Hardy, doing all this. And I was like, oh, nobody screamed like that for me before.
I mean, this man, it was like voodoo with dance music.
The difference between him and Frankie was Ron Hardy was more of a rebel.
You had Frankie, we would groove you to death. I mean, you know, he would like classic groove, slow you, you know, just funky. And you had Ron Hardy that would beat you to death.
I love listening to Roddy because you never knew what you were going to get.
His actual style came out of him being a heroin addict because he thought the music was a little slow, so he pitched it up.
All I hear is this sound, this perfect sound. I knew in my soul, in my heart, in all my body, that music was moving me to my core, and I knew it was gonna move a lot of people. And that was, for me, the beginning of dance music.
The way the Chicago guys did it, they just took like disco grooves and rehooked them up.
We stole everybody's music. I mean, that's how we created our sound.
And we used to just dig in the crates and find something that people forgot about and bring it back.
With such a limited supply of old tunes, DJs became increasingly creative on the decks.
Chicago style is to have a tight blend, to have everything even, to sound musical, you know, when you're not mixing vocals on top of vocals, you know, you're finding a place where one record goes with another and it feels right.
We're gonna take the beat out, bring the beat back. Beat out, beat back in. Record with beats, a cappella, both together.
These tight mixing techniques were honed to perfection on radio station WBMX by the Hot Mix 5.
WBMX is a Chicago radio station that was home to a legendary group of DJs called the Hot Mix 5. These DJs played a pivotal role in popularizing house music.
It was just such a mystique to that whole show, you know, Saturday Night Live, ain't no jive. I remember that was what they used to say.
If you went around the country and you listened to other DJs play, if you went to New York or even some of the underground clubs here, you would have maybe a 7-minute record. They would play 6.5 minutes of the record, and then they would just segue out at the end. The Hot Mix 5, on the other hand, was different. They would play 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes of the record, take the best part out, play the break, repeat the break a couple times, and just give you the meat of the record that you wanted, and forget the rest of the garbage that was in there as filler. And that's what really, really made the Hot Mix 5 style.
It started on a few dance floors with a few pioneers.
Its roots comes from black musicians, Latinos, and it comes from, it's an extension of disco.
My take on house music is this. House music is what Frankie Knuckles played at the Warehouse.
From the underground clubs of Chicago, house has grown into the biggest musical phenomenon since rock and roll.
And if there is going to be a godfather of house in the same way that James Brown is the godfather of soul, Frankie Knuckles is without doubt the godfather of house music.